Station, weekly discussion and live debate on all issues affecting the African community at home and abroad. Tune in Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. and have your say as we talk it straight and make it plain. It's live, it's hot, it's scintillating, it's real. It's Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio, the only brainwashing station.
And my brothers and sisters, you tune to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan and Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. Giving thanks and praises to Mwadi Nyakusika, God the creator of the universe, through the spirits of Muzumukuru, our great ancestors. Rumbitsuku Mwadi Africa, to the God of Africa, be the glory. Yes, brothers and sisters, time for another show, another Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. And we're blessed to have you, brothers and sisters, to interact with. And yeah, we're gonna have a great show this evening, and we're paying tribute to one of our greatest warrior scholars. We are honoring the centenary of the great warrior scholar none other than the great Baba John Henrik Clarke. And our subject matter today is, where are today's warrior scholars? Tendai Mwari. I am blessed to have alongside me none other than our great producer, the man who produces some tremendous literature, informative and inspirational. And he produces this show, and he does some brilliant work. And we've got some good news for you, brothers and sisters. Hold tight. Yes, let me just greet my dear brother Olatunji Heru. Tender my brother Olatunji.
Tender my brother Omwale, tender my entire Galaxy family.
Okay.
Blessing to be here.
Hold tight, my brother. We just want to make sure that you try again, my brother.
Tender Mwale, greeting brother Omwale, and greetings to the entire Galaxy family. Blessing to be here on this wonderful Kutitagulia self-determination evening.
Right, okay.
Has also been
Right. Okay, right, my brother. Yes, as I said, we're giving tribute to our great Baba John Henrik Clarke. Yeah, we give thanks to Ndamwari. Okay, sorry, brother Olatunji. Just one more. Sorry, slightly technical there, brothers and sisters. Give thanks and praises to the management as per usual. Little guidance there. Tell them, my brother Olatunji.
Tendamwari, greeting brother Omwale, and greetings to the entire Galaxy family.
Tendamwari, and on the subject of the management, of course, I want to give thanks to our great brother, Dr. Abu Batata, for the last 3 hours of inspiration and information. We give thanks to you, my brother, for the continued work you're doing in this wonderful institution called Galaxy Afiwi. 102 Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. 102.5 FM, brothers and sisters, don't touch that dial. Galaxy is the brainwashing station. Tenamai. Yes, my dear brother Olatunji, another program today, and there are we need to enlighten our listeners about that great event that took place. That by the way, that jingle last week, man. Well, that was powerful stuff, man.
Sports Day one.
How you mean, man?
Well, indeed. Yeah, we are gonna get some in-depth accounts from the Sports Day very, very, very soon. So yes, all of that we're gonna have. Those of you who missed it, shame on you. If you weren't there I'm sure for good reason.
Yes.
You are gonna get a full account of the day's event, as well as the outcome and who was crowned champions for the Pan-African Sports and Culture Day 2018, more accurately 6258.
Okay, so Tenamara. So we're going to keep our brothers and sisters in suspense a little bit longer. All right, okay. All right, well, let's start with very, very important announcements. First of all, we have to start with Shumira. Shumira is worship, traditional African worship spoken in the Shona language of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe's language. And basically, brothers and sisters, from since the inception of the Alkebu-Lan revivalist movement, January 1987, we called ourselves and the community to the order of Shumira African worship. We may not have called it that. We probably called it, we actually called it fellowship at the time, but we now call it Shumira. And just to enlighten you, brothers and sisters, about the various different elements of Shumira. Shumira is traditional African worship before the ancestral shrine. So this is a gathering of African people steeped in traditional African worship. Yeah, so you're not going to see any Jesus, you're not going to see any Allah, any Buddha. All you're going to see is Mwari Nyakusika, Unkulunkulu. Who else are we gonna be blessed with? Nobukuwane, all the traditional names of the Creator. Yeah, and in terms of Shumira, we say a family that prays together, stays together. So there is prayer, very, very important part of our Shumira. We say a family that reasons together, seasons together. So there's plenty of reasoning and plenty of update on what's happening in our own lives. And also a family that dines together, binds together. So we have our karamu, our communal feasting, where we feed each other and uplift each other under the banner of the traditional African shrine. So if brothers and sisters, if you want to come and worship with us, the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement, you can do so, as I said, every first Sunday of the month, every first Umoja day of the month. And we have our Shumira at the Chestnuts Community Center, which is 208. Most people know the Chestnuts Community Center. It's in North London. It is 280 St. Anne's Road, N15, and for November, N15, 5 Bravo November, 5BN. Yeah, any more information, brothers and sisters, you can check our website, which is alkebulan.org. ALKEBU, B for Bravo, Alkebu-Lan, LAN.org. Yeah, Tendai Mwari. So that is Shumira. Very, very important. Can I also say to all those brothers and sisters who've contacted us and who has also supporting us financially, we give thanks. We put an appeal out last show just for brothers and sisters, just to enlighten you about our predicament, our financial predicament. And some of you have answered the call, and we say tatenda, we say thank you, and we ask for your continued support, brothers and sisters. Those of you who are able to, we would be blessed if you can take out a standing order, which is a regular monthly contribution to the liberation work of the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement, particularly in relation to our Imani Day School, the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence, and also our home school collective, which is the Ma'at Academy of Excellence, brothers and sisters. So, this is a step along the road of self-determination. Is creating educational environments for our own children. We cannot trust the enemies of our people to educate us to liberation. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, and I know the man we are featuring today has a wonderful has a number of quotes on us taking charge of our own destiny. Well, on the subject of the Imani Day School, the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence, Brother Olatunji, are we ready to make the announcement yet? Or are we going to have a special guest who's going to be enlightening us? All right. Well, before we do that, then we're gonna get our people in the mood with a musical interlude. Did you like that? Did you like that, Olatunji? Gonna get our people in the mood with a musical interlude. And this one is called, Brother Olatunji?
This one is called Look in the Mirror.
All right. Okay.
History
is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells of people where they have been and what they have been, where they are and what they are. Most important, history tells a people where they still must go and what they still must be. The relationship of history to the people is the same as the relationship of a mother to her child. What you're calling African history and Negro history are the missing pages of world history. Go study the history of your masters. Go study the history of the people who enslaved you and find out why they found it a necessity to remove an entire people from the respectful commentary of the history of the world. And that's one thing you have to get through your mind and keep it. Nothing that ever came from the European mind was meant to do anything but facilitate European domination of the world. And I said there's no exception. Everything that was brought into this continent, everything, every idea, every so-called religion was meant to dominate and to control. The Arabs had no illusions about it. The Europeans had no illusions about it. You were the ones with the illusions. And yet every element that went into the making of every major religion in the world started in Africa. Why is it that you are so naive? You let people redress something that you invented, sell it back to you, and enslave you through it. I'm saying that all organized peasant religions are male chauvinist murder cults. And I say there is no exception. I wanted to deal with our relationship with the people of the world and the fact that we created peaceful nations that had no word for jail because no one had ever gone to one. No word for old people's home because no one ever threw away grandma and grandpa. No word for orphanage. We did all of this, and over half of human civilization was over before we knew that a European was in the world. Before he wore a shoe or lived in a house that had a window. Now, Africa has always and still is the prize for the whole world. We as a people have always been the world's richest people, culturally rich, mineral rich. We have always been the prize because we have always had and still have something that other people won't, think they can't do without, and don't care to pay for. Because we have always been the prize, we have been under siege for over 3,000 years. Nothing that ever brought into Africa from the outside was meant to do the Africans any good. That means all other religions. Islam was the handmaiden of Arab imperialism. Christianity was the handmaiden of European imperialism. The Hebrew faith was the handmaiden of a concept called the chosen people. Now, if God is kind and God is merciful and God has no stepchildren, he won't choose one over the other. And to say he chose some people, you're making him a bigot. And to say that he indulged enslavement of one people over the other, you're making him an accessory to murder. They have used Islam to rationalize their slavery and their imperialism. The Europeans use Christianity to rationalize their slavery and imperialism. Who are you kidding about friends in the world? Damn it, if you want a friend, look in the mirror. There's 1 billion African people on the face of this earth. Why are you buying third-rate junk from third-rate people thinking you can't make it? Why don't you at least make a safety pin to hold your child's diaper together? Who has programmed your mind as thinking you can't make a car? The first man that made a car that never seen one previously.
So now, my brothers and sisters, yes, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. Galaxy is the only brainwashing station. Today, our subject matter is where are today's warrior scholars? And we were blessed to be hearing from none other than the great Baba John Henrik Clarke. And there is so many important speeches there. Brothers and sisters, and he is, those of us who are on this road and have studied and have managed to read and watch the various videos of our elder, we are so inspired and we are so impressed. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to move over to the big announcement. Right, we have a couple of guests on the line. I think I'm going to take I'm taking Brother Inika first, because he was the trainer, he was the coordinator of the Pan-African Sports Day. Right, let me bring in Brother Inika. Tena, my Brother Inika, welcome to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. Okay, let me try again.
Having me on.
Sorry, my brother. Sorry, we didn't actually have you on. We only got the last bit of what you said. Sorry. So Tena, my greetings, Brother Inika.
Tena, my Ali, thank you for having me on Africa Speak.
Yes, and also, brothers and sisters, just to remind you, if you don't know, get to know, Brother Inika is also the coordinator or the managing director, I'm sure he'll tell me what the title is, of Neeks Sports, which is, well, that's getting greater and greater acclaim, brothers and sisters. But Brother Inika, before we go to Neek Sports, let's at least hear about everybody's waiting with bated breath about the result of the Pan-African Sports Day. Can we get a drum roll, Olatunji, or nice, Olatunji is doing a little thing. Can we have in third? So, Brother Inika, in third place.
I was going to say before I come to the result.
All right, okay, go on. You can do, yeah.
What I was going to say, personally, was that we had a few new schools participating this year compared to last year and even the year before. I think last year we just had 3 of us, which was Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence, Afrika Bantu Saturday School, and Nubia Foundation School.
That's correct. That's right.
This year we had 2 other schools, which were the West Side Young Leaders Academy. And we had a school that had coordinated an independent team, basically, AYEP. I can't remember what that stands for now. AYEP. So we had 5 schools competing this time. So the competition
was tougher and harder.
Hotter, especially with the temperatures exceeding 30 degrees on the Imani Day. So it was a beautiful day.
Oh yes.
And so if I remember that, okay, the independent school, they came in 5th place with 42 points.
All right, well done. Round of applause. Ooh. Okay, we're creating an atmosphere in the studio here. Go ahead.
In 4th place was Nubia Foundation School.
Well done, Nubia Foundation.
And West Side Academy, you have to give them a big congratulations because it was their first time at the Pan-African Sports Day. They finished in 3rd place.
All right, that's good achievement. Well done, West Side Leadership Academy, yeah?
West Side Young Leaders Academy.
Young Leaders Academy. Well done. Well done.
And
bronze medal. Oh no, that's bronze medal. Silver medal.
The reigning champions going into the tournament were actually Afrika Bantu Saturday School. They won it 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The first year they won it was by like a mammoth margin. Like nobody could touch them. Last year it got a bit closer, but they were still comfortable winners.
Right.
This year in second place, 76 points, was Afrika Bantu Saturday School.
Wow.
Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence were the winners.
Whoa.
For 2018 with 90 points.
All right. Makorokoto. I think that's Sister Kai in the background. Nice with the special effects there. Makorokoto to all, first of all, Makorokoto to all the children and young people that participated in the Pan-African Sports Day. And if you are from any Saturday school, any Imani Day school, please get in contact with us, alkebu-lan.org, or if you're in contact with any of the other Imani Day schools, please do so, because we want to make it even bigger and even better. Yes, Brother Nika, sorry, pray continue, my brother.
I just wanted to really thank firstly the children, those who participated and made the day what it is. Obviously, the day is about them, even though there is a parents and grandparents race. In those races, from the under 35s, Alkebu-Lan came first and came third. I myself came third, and Brother Jawanza came first. The under 35.
All right.
Sprint. For the men.
So you only came third, Nika?
Of course, you have to pass the baton over sometimes. I've been winning the under 35 race for a long time.
Well done. You
have to pass the baton to Jawanza and Akintunde and those there. So,
okay.
You know, as long as the title stays in Alkebu-Lan, I'm more than happy.
All right. Okay, I'll leave it there, Nika. I'll leave it there. We'll talk off air.
But also I want to thank all the schools who got involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially Westside Academy, as I said, it was their first time. Black Fathers Group, even though they obviously don't they didn't send any participants. They supported in terms of organizing.
Well done.
The day and contributed financially as other.
Excellent. Thank you, Black Fathers.
Of course, the usual Afrika Bantu, Alkebu-Lan, and Nubia schools. So obviously, we are trying to make this. You know, it is an annual event.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 3 years, this year it's been in South London, but we do plan on moving it around the country to involve more and more Saturday schools. So I said the country, sorry, around the city.
Okay.
Involving more and more Saturday schools. So next year it could be a park very near you.
Right. A park very near you, brothers and sisters. Can I just say, Brother Nika, I want to thank you in particular for not just coordinating or one of the coordinators of the Pan-African Sports Day, because there were representations from other groups and organizations, but also for making sure that our children were primed and ready. Our young brother, not so young these days, he was training up the youngsters a good couple of Sabbaths before. He was out there training the youngsters. So we were ready, man. We were ready.
We had to be, because even on this station alone, we've had a lot of, as well.
Listen, I'm coming.
Us young people would say we held an L. A loss in the last couple of years, and Uncle Minka let us know.
Yes.
On certain terms.
Yes.
So it was a matter of time. You know, it was about time that we took the trophy home.
Absolutely.
There was some shouts of fix. But I was just an announcer. I didn't do any of the adding up. That was left to Afrika Bantu.
You mean there was some poor losership going on?
Say that again?
You mean there was some poor losers?
It seemed like it, all in good fun, of course.
Of course, but they lost.
But, you know, I'm sure that they're seething right now and trying to plan for next year in terms of how they can win back the title. But so we'll be even more ready. I think in terms of our Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence ourselves, we were lower on numbers this year than previous years, especially in the older age groups. So it was down to the younger children to really lead us to victory. They were competing in some of the races where students were 2, 3, 4 years older than them.
Right.
Still picking up points. So yeah.
So it's a young team. All goes well for the future, Brother Nika, wouldn't you say?
Say that again?
It's a young team that all goes well for the future, wouldn't you say? For years to come.
Oh yes, of course. As long as we keep them together.
Okay.
Keep them training, and maybe 2022 we might win it as well.
So
the
so it's already home then. The trophy's already home then.
The trophy is already home.
All right.
Athletics is home.
Okay.
Is home.
All right. So no other references.
Running's coming home with it.
The gold medal's coming home. The gold medal is home. All I want to know is where Minka they now? Tenamai, sister. Let me bring in Sister Kai. Tenamai, Sister Kai.
Tenamai. I just want to say,
yeah.
Academy of Excellence, who worked extremely hard in making sure that trophy come home. And we worked hard for it, brothers and sisters. As Brother Nika said, we really want to hurt up the children because, they really put out their best for themselves, of themselves on that day. And to be honest with you, I didn't think that we had won. Even though, we were going for a win. I didn't think we had won. Even on the day, when it was being announced, I thought we were getting ready to hear the announcement. I thought, okay, we've come third. There's more schools now. There's, a bigger competition. We didn't have much older children. So some of the races we didn't actually compete in. So, I said, oh, well, I said, we tried hard, maybe come third. But when I heard third place score, I thought, okay, we've come second. That's not bad. And I realized we won. I said, oh, my God, I jumped up. I couldn't believe it. So I just feel really great. And I, took some pictures of Brother Minka to make sure it goes down in history.
Absolutely.
And I did challenge him. I did invite him to come on the radio with us this evening.
Where is Brother Minka?
When he's won, but he said he'll give this one a miss.
No, man.
So I did tell Brother Minka 2 years ago. I said, Brother Minka, when Afrika took the cup, I said, Brother Minka, let this be the first and the last time. Hold the cup, caress it, and make the most of it because you will never touch that cup again.
All right.
Unfortunately, they won for the second time. I said the same things again. I said,
it was a closer margin though, wasn't it, sis?
But this time I said to him, that's a loss. I gave them 2 years. Afrika said 2 years of holding and caressing that cup, taking their pictures, do whatever they want. They will never see that cup again. Ever.
Right. Wow, that's what you call hard competition.
Any schools, Saturday schools out there that is, brave enough to want to join us next year at Sports Day, come along. Come along, the challenge is on.
All right.
Just know, because I'm worried.
I don't know if you heard the competitive element there in Sister Kai, brothers and sisters, but that's what you're up against. Any Saturday schools or independent schools that want to take part. It's serious stuff, It's serious stuff. Right, Sister Kai. I know that I just want to give tribute to you, Brother Leader Bandaka and Sister Amitai in particular, as the main Sebas and coordinators over the years of the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence, and also now the Ma'at Academy of Excellence. Could you just enlighten us a little bit more about why it was so important to set these institutions up? Just a snippet. The African
World Movement, which started in 1987, 6227, has always had a program for its children. Our first institution was Shemila Fellowship, worship, our communal worship, and then we instituted our then what was called Children's Program. It's developed then since onto the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence. And if we're going to do this work, we're talking about liberating our people, conscientizing our people, if we don't have a program for our children, then we're not serious. Because technically it's about adults sitting down there trying to prove who's more intelligent, who's read more. And, You can do that any time of day, especially now we've got social media. Many of us sitting at home, sending WhatsApp and YouTube videos and doing all kind of, whatever things we do with social media, and convince ourselves we're actually doing work, where we really have barely got off the ground. So I'm not saying that these talk shows and these little discussions that we have on Facebook and WhatsApp and what have you, they're not important. They're very important because information sharing. But we still got, after that, we got to get them and now do the work. And doing the work means having programs for our children. We can see that we are losing our children every day on the street, not just through shooting, but more importantly through the education system, which is dumbing our children down, making it difficult for them to function in society. They have lost their social skills, their confidence, they find it difficult to build relationships. So these institutions are vital. So we offer the basic, like the English language and communication, mathematics, but we also offer African history, where African history and African writers are intertwined in the English language and communication. So it's African writers from the Caribbean, so we're looking at those artists which are not celebrated in the mainstream education system. We also have arts and crafts, because if we don't know anything about our culture, culture is taught and it's transmitted to our children through drama, art, crafts, songs, games, dance.
Absolutely.
And that's how they receive the information and are able to understand it better. So that is an intrinsic part of the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence, as well as an African language. Over the years, we've had Twi, then which is a Ghanaian language, and Yoruba, which is a Nigerian language. September coming, we're looking to institutionalize Twi again.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a Saturday school, so to bring your children to not just learn maths and English, that's important, or maths and English, but also their confidence will build so quickly, you'll be surprised that maths and English becomes a pushover.
That's right.
And they will be more sure-footed when they go into the European institutions, because they will know themselves more, they know why they are there and what they have to get from those institutions. So we'd like to invite those of you that are interested. I've thought about putting your child in a Saturday school, a Pan-African Saturday school, an African Centre Saturday school. Our school is based in East London. There are other schools, and those of you that from the community that didn't just come out. A lot of people came out on Saturdays, not just from Saturday schools, but from the community to celebrate our children. That was fantastic. So we celebrate them as well, and we thank them. So if you're interested in Saturday school, you can contact myself on 07908 814152. We also have the Art Academy of Excellence. Again, there are many of our children who are struggling in the mainstream school, but not only that, more and more parents are now saying, I don't actually think this is good for my child. I went through it. And believe you me, I know that when I went in there, I had more about me than when I came out. And so they are questioning the whole system, the way the education is taught, if we call it education. And so they're questioning all these things. And in doing so, it wasn't even our plan originally. It wasn't our plan. We were looking at starting a primary school. And we started that process for about 3 years. But there was a demand for secondary age children, and we took the first one, and the second one came. And now it's just a secondary homeschool collective. And so if you are a homeschooler and you would like your child to be part of a network where they are being taught every day, 9 till 3:20, we do the usual English language and communication, maths, we teach biology,
French,
geography, French. We're hoping that yoga is going to also come into the curriculum. We're speaking to Mr. Collar at the moment. And what do? We do swimming, we do tennis should be starting in September, cycling. So we have like a PE set, we do yoga, African history, media, ICT, all from an African perspective. So everything they're learning is from an African perspective. We're putting Africa at the center of their thinking. So they don't see Africa somewhere, where it's backward and what have you. They see Africa where ingenuity started. And now you are seeing, things like electric cars being built or cars being built that doesn't need to be charged.
That's right.
brilliant things are coming out of Africa. Just hear me, that wasn't about killing and shooting or what have you. But if our children are in the right institutions with people who love them, you're going to see them excel.
Word.
My Academy of Excellence, the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence. That's what we're striving for, excellence, sisters and brothers. And if you have a vision of excellence for your children, then contact me again. I'll give the number, and I'm sure that the presenters will give the number out later.
Most definitely.
I think if you didn't have a pen, it's 07908 814 152. That's for the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence. We take children from age 3 to 16, and the Academy take children from age 11 to 16. Thank you very much. Tenda Amore.
Tenda Amore, Sister Kai, and thank you for the great work that you're doing. Brother Renika, a quick mention of Neek Sports and what you're doing there.
Tenda Amore.
Tenda Amore.
So, yeah, Neek Sports is, it's mainly a YouTube channel, but we're on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and basically giving, as a group of us, 2 presenters and a few others behind the scenes, but giving the perspective of different sports, not just football, from a fan's point of view. So as much as we are presenting and getting the views of other fans and supporters, we also give our views from fans. We know that a lot of the media around sport is dominated by a select few, usually ex-pros, who generally tend to be white men. I know nowadays they're kind of integrating more women, black men into it. But the saying, the fan revolution is here. People whose voices weren't heard in the past are now have the platform to make their voice heard, and that's what we're doing. So we generally we do football, cricket, boxing is I would say a niche in what we do compared to a lot of different fan channels and a lot of different YouTube influencers, and because especially heavyweight boxing right now, the climate for heavyweight boxing and the interest is in Britain here. It's a very bubbling market, you might say,
right,
of fan interest. So as Neek Sports, we tend to do a lot of that. Myself, I've written for the different newspapers, including the Whirlwind newspaper, as well as the Jamaican
Gleaner?
Jamaica UK.
Oh, Jamaica UK. Okay. All right. Okay, Anika, and how can they get hold of you?
Well, in terms of anything,
Neek Sports, or yeah,
email me on neeksports@gmail.com, or you can follow and message on any of the social medias. In terms of the sports day, or any other inquiries, you can call on 079. I forgot my number. 834-260-588. We are looking for more schools to be involved in future years to help this, to grow the Pan-African Sports Day into a massive community event.
Bless you. Okay, thank you both very much. Mother and son combination. We give thanks to both of you for the tremendous work you're doing. Tenda Amari.
Tenda Amari.
Yes, brothers and sisters, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy 102.5 FM. You know what I didn't do? I don't think I gave you the bank details, but I think it's apt that I didn't, right? Because what we've given is a flavor of what you will be supporting, brothers and sisters. You've heard about those 2 very, very important institutions. You know how to get in contact with Sister Kahi. And I will repeat the number again, and I will continue to do so as we always do our appeal on Galaxy 102.5 FM for your support, brothers and sisters. As I said, these are independent institutions, and we need your support, your financial support, so we can ensure that we have educational materials and equipment to basically to develop our school. And the bank details are as follows, if you haven't got a pen already. Right, the sort code is 56, that's 560017, 560017, and the account number is 2350. Oh dear, I've gone a bit blank. 2350 3359. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, 2350-3351. That's what I was. Yeah. 2350-3351. Apologies about that. 2350-3351. That is the account number. The account name is Mama Africa with a K, and it's a NatWest Bank account. Yeah. You can always text us, call us, if you want any further information on that. But thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Thank you again, all those children and young people and elders. Big up to the Black Fathers as well. They have a show on Galaxy Radio on Ujama evenings, Wednesday evenings as well. Big up to all the Black Fathers. We need representation from the Black Fathers, brothers and sisters. Okay. Tendai Mari. So we thank everybody who got involved in the Pan-African Sports Day, and everybody who hasn't this year, we need to get involved next year. And Brother Minka, we're still waiting your call. Just for this is for Brother Minka only. The number to call in on Brother Minka is 020-7193-0174. If anybody knows Brother Minka, tell him that we're waiting for his call. We want to give him his is it L? Is it L? I think that's what the I think that's what young brother Inika was saying. So anybody, next to Brother Minka or no Brother Minka, tell him that, he needs to come on the program and tell us what happened to Afrika Bantu. Tendai Mari. Yes, brothers and sisters, this is Africa Speaks. We're going on over to our main subject now. And, it's very apt as well on the subject of Imani Day schools, because I know our dear Baba John Henrik Clarke, he was schooled in one of these, basically during the time of segregation. The school that he went to was, very, very poorly resourced. But for him, it wasn't about the lack of resources. It was about the spirit in the school, the love in the school. I can promise you that in the Alkebu-Lan Academy of Excellence and the Ma'at Academy of Excellence. And we will also produce some more great Babas like Baba John Henrik Clarke. Over to you, Brother Olatunji, with our summary. Tendai Mwari.
Tendai Mwari. July the 16th is the 20th anniversary of the passing of Grand Master Teacher, warrior scholar, Baba John Henrik Clarke. Baba Clarke was a titan who galvanized generations in pursuit of the true history of Africa and Africans in service of the Afrikan World Revolution. As a guide and confidant to Omawale Malcolm X, he ensured his work was not just restricted to the classroom. He even inspired Hollywood icon Wesley Snipes to make a film about his life, A Great and Mighty Walk. Since his passing, warrior scholar Mama Marimba Ani, who worked alongside Baba Clarke at Hunter College in New York, has helped keep his legacy alive by establishing the annual Abakosem ritual in remembrance of his honor. But on the other hand, occurrences like the election of Barack Obama seem to wrong-foot many scholars, some regarded as Africentric, who had seemed to have difficulty separating the symbol from the substance of Obama. This not only raises questions about the current state of warrior scholarship, but also the prospects going forward. So tonight, sisters and brothers, we ask the question, where are today's warrior scholars? Are you familiar with the works of Baba John Henrik Clarke? Did the Africentric Movement offer an effective analysis of the Obama phenomenon? What is the best way to generate future warrior scholars? What is the Abakosem? In this age of instant information, do we still need warrior scholars? Our guest, we're going to be hearing from very soon, sisters and brothers, a very special guest, is Mama Marimba Ani, African-centered cultural scientist who is engaged in the reconceptualization of African experience from the perspective of African people. Is also known for introducing the term the Ma'afa to our community, to the African world, also known as African Holocaust. She also created the Ma'afa Sankofa paradigm as part of a development of an African cultural science and social theory, author of a number of brilliant books, Let the Circle Be Unbroken and The Mighty Yurugu, an African-centered critique of European cultural thought and behavior that was published in 1994. Ideologically, Mama Marimba considers herself to be a Garveyite an African sovereignist, and a race woman. And in Mazar 2015, Mama Marimba was appointed the UNA ACL Ambassador of Race First Sovereign Development. So we're just going to have a musical interlude. We're going to get right into speaking with Mama Marimba Ani. Tendamari.
So about that, Tenam, my brothers and sisters. Yes, you tune to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy 102.5 FM. Here we go.
Marcus Garvey family, ancestors no leave me. Naya Bengi, Bobo Shanti. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, oh, oh. Ay, 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 ay. Hey, hey, hey. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, ay, ay, ay. Hey, hey, listen, the blood of African kings run in my vein. Here in that Jamaica, rebellious offspring. We've got a warrior spirit inside. From that time, we can't change. And this a warrior spirit inside. It come from break every shackle and chain. Manashaka Zulu, and Kuma, Kunta Kinte, it's like Malcolm and Martin and Marcus and Fiery, Kuma, Vela Kute, Kunta Kinte, it's like Darby and Marley and Fiery. Look how many years them whip with. That's when they whip our microchip with. I don't think Babylon style of fit me. Buckle it out, come make we get to with victory. Don't fight my brother and sister. And when we are dance, them say we're moving sinister. When all we do is love with culture. I beat the drums and we are chase the vultures away. Mana Shaka Zulu, Paul Vogel, Lulumba, it's like Martin and Malcolm and Marcus and Fiery, Yahweh, King Selassie, Mandela, it's like Marcus and Martin and Fiery.
Tonight, my brothers and sisters, yes, that was the great Horace Riley. Shaka Zulu Picnic. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, brothers and sisters, we're blessed to have with us the great. It's our pleasure to introduce you again, brothers and sisters, to Mama Marimba Ani. Tenda Amor, Mama Marimba.
Yes. Okay, how are you?
We're very well. I hope, right, I hope we're loud and clear. Are we loud and clear? Right. Okay. Yes, we are. My dear Mama Marimba, I just want to thank you for not just who you are and what you've been doing for us as a people, but in particular, I mean, you have brought to us some great ones as well. People like our dear sister Nubia Wardford, who we had the pleasure of interacting with. She is a beautiful spirit. You've also enlightened us about Kobe Cambon as well, a little bit further back in the day. And, we're blessed to know about him as well. You've done some tremendous work, my dear Mama Marimba. And we just want to just give tribute and honor to you. We can't say enough about Yorugu as well. So it's always a pleasure having you, my dear Mama. Tendamari.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Okay. Right. Now, our subject matter today, we are honoring, of course, none other than the great Baba John Henrik Clarke. Now, you had the pleasure of working with him at Hunter College. Can you just give us a flavor of the great man?
Yes, and actually, I had the privilege, I would say, to have been trained by him, and that began prior to us being at Hunter College together.
Right.
So his influence on me really is cannot be. It wasn't primarily in a European educational institution. Let's put it that way. And it wasn't about the academy. I was young and had been working with SNCC in Mississippi, and
The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee?
yeah,
Right.
that really brought together all the different what would we say areas in which and students that had been involved in the sit-in movement, which had a big effect on us, on our people, and on me. So that's what SNCC did, was to coordinate that under the leadership of Mama Ella Baker,
Right.
which people need to
Wow, another great one.
study at some point and know about her.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very special person.
Mm.
But at any rate, so that was a training ground for me of sorts. It was a rite of passage, I think. But there came a point at which my thinking required more than that, beyond what SNCC was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a very, very small group, now maybe there were about 4 or 5 of us, actually brought Baba John Henrik Clarke down to New Orleans for to help us do work and study and have a conference and all of that on African civilization and history. So it was like expanding, the whole ideological growth and process.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I became a student of Nana Clarke.
Mm-hmm.
And so I consider him my ideological father.
Right.
And that was in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to Hunter and start that process, which he brought me there until 1970, the end of 1974, going into 1975. So that whole period, it's like 9 years, was pre-Hunter.
Okay.
And was a very important part of my ideological growth and development, which Nana Clarke was responsible for.
Right.
So I consider him my ideological father. What can I tell you?
Right. Well, sorry, yes.
One of the things that's very important that he did that I feel close to and like to continue is that he connected us to our ancestral warrior spirit, if you will. That was what he did. He brought Garvey to us, for instance. He brought Yao Santewa to us, and so forth. Then you mentioned that you have had you've made contact with Sister Nubia, and
Beautiful sister.
you bring Baba Kobe.
Yes.
That's what I like to do, is to connect our people now to each other who are doing things that once connected, there is a force that is capable of manifesting itself when these kind of warrior energies come together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like to do.
Right. And you know, we really give thanks for it, Dana Murray. But a lot of our our scholars who, you know, who have written books and done some really enlightening work to stimulate us intellectually. You know, I know that there have been challenges in terms of the manifestation, especially when we come up against some of the tricks of white supremacy, like, for example, the Obama phenomena. Now, you spoke very, very strongly about that. Could you just explain to us why you had to speak so strongly in that during that particular era, and what was it about our scholars, some of our scholars and teachers, that, for want of a better word, frustrated you, if you don't mind me saying so?
Well, let's go back to Nana Clarke, which is what we're supposed to be talking about. The one of the very, very special things about him was that it was not his intent to be popular.
Right.
And while he was greatly loved,
Yes, indeed,
by our people,
Mm-hmm.
which is a wonderful thing, he wasn't saying what he was saying or sharing the ideas that he was sharing in order to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
He was sharing them because he loved us.
Right.
But whatever truth that he saw that was important for us to know, he would say it, even when it was unpopular.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think that would be part of my training.
Indeed.
And that whole period of the Obama mania was one in which it was disappointing in that the people that I thought would have known better didn't, or if they did, they didn't act on what they knew. They acted out of fear, and that ultimately is our problem. Is fear. It's fear of, well, what will happen if we don't have the support of the white people? You know, what will happen if we are independent?
Right.
What will they do to us, and that kind of thing? And you can never make decisions as a warrior. As warriors, you can never make decisions out of fear. And that's what was happening there. There was also what was happening was among people that I did not expect. There was the need to be accepted and to be loved by the enemy, which points to a very serious illness.
Yes.
You know, a state of illness that we have. So all of that, because it was clear that Obama, that whole thing was not good for African people, and you know, that was a difficult conclusion to come to if one really did serious political analysis, and we acted in a strategic way, you see. And if we were concerned with African power, which is that's African sovereignty, and that's got to be the ultimate objective to me. And you know, nothing less than that. So if that's the kind of the standard, then it makes it clear what's good for us, what's not good for us, and so forth. And now I think it's important for people to be able to look at that period and look at his tenure, you know, as leader of the so-called free world, and
oh boy,
critique it in with respect to Africa and African people. So, you know, there's still work to be done. That is not really about him as a person, because it never was to me.
No.
It's about the business of what is good for African people.
Absolutely.
And African sovereignty. You know, it's about race business, as we put it. And so now we've got to look at, well, where are we? Where are we at? What has happened to the continent? You know, that's a big part of my concern always, and focus is looking at us as a world people, and then looking at the motherland as a source of strength. And what we've allowed to happen is that our mother has been raped, is being raped, and we are kind of sitting around watching, pretending that that's not happening, but to do an assessment of what's going on in the continent now is, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Nana Clarke called for Afrikan World Revolution. People say, you know, how great he was and how they love him, but how many people actually listen to what he's saying? And wonder, well, what did he mean by that? Afrikan World Revolution. You know, why make that the title of the major book? We have work to do. We have work to do on ourselves. One primary thing is to get clarity.
Absolutely.
To know what it is that we want.
Mama Marimba, I want to get back to you about this particular situation that you spoke so powerfully to during the Obama mania period. But my brother Olatunji wants to put a point to you, Mama
Marimba. I mean, it's kind of related because I certainly get the impression that had Nana Clarke been around during that period of time, there would have been a lot more clarity around and analyzing the whole Obama phenomenon, which maybe it's a double-edged sword, because I'm sure Baba Clarke would have spoken truth to power. The issue is, though, would other people be truth to power because he did and because he was around, or because they really felt it? So in a sense, maybe we would have needed a Baba Clarke at that time, because he would have kind of said, this is how it is. And like I said, like you previously said, not for popularity, but to tell the truth. So I think, in a sense, that's maybe what was missing for a lot of our people, even a lot of our scholars, that Baba Clarke wasn't there to say this is how it is. And he kind of, because he is such a revered visionary thinker and warrior scholar, he set the foundation for generations in terms of that African revolutionary thinking. And that not being there seemed to open the door for people to maybe do stuff that maybe they're inclined to do anyway, but wouldn't have done on his watch, so to speak.
Did you get that, Mama Marimba?
And I'm so sorry, but and I don't know if it's me, but I need you to someone to repeat it. Like if you could repeat that, or the point that I should.
Right. Okay.
I couldn't. None of that was clear.
Does this sound any clearer, Mama?
Yes, I can understand you a bit better.
Okay. Right. Good. Right. What I was simply going to say was, thinking back to what you said earlier regarding the whole Obama situation, one of the things that occurred to me was maybe had Nana Clarke been around then to make the situation clear, some of the pronouncements that actually came out wouldn't have come out because he'd already made it clear what it should be, although we could argue you made those clear anyway. So, so I suppose it kind of speaks to the fact that how much we need constantly an essence and an energy like Nana Clarke to be around us to set that foundation. He'd been around because he had that status globally. And maybe that's one of the things that was lacking for us at the time. In a sense, maybe it's good because people maybe were inclined to think what they really thought anyway. But had he been there, maybe the analysis would have been very different. Do you think that's the case?
Say it again.
Do you think had Nana Clarke been around during that period of time, the analysis that came out around the Obama phenomenon, do you think it would have been very different?
There are two people that I was thinking about at that time, think about now, and that was Nana Clarke and Amos Wilson.
Yes. I knew it. Yes.
Yeah, I looked at Baba Amos's work during that period, and subsequently I continued to do. And there are chapters which people can look at and stuff. But it was almost like he was anticipating the Obama phenomenon and spoke to it. If you look back, I think I saw it in the last chapter of Blueprint.
Okay.
Where he is being critical of the leadership. If you remember that chapter, it's one that people should read again and again and again.
All right.
And he talks about the different kind, and talks about something like false black nationalism and different things like that. But there are places where he does raise the specter of the illusion, of a leadership that actually is supporting, our demise, actually. So there's Amos is one person, and then Nana Clarke. There was a time when he was critical of something that our people were very, very, very much in favor of and enamored of. And I experienced that. And it kind of put him, it isolated him in the sense that people actually said, oh, he's becoming senile. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. They were still polite, but they did not listen to what he said. And that was around Farrakhan.
Yes. Yes, Mama.
Million Man March.
Speak, Mama.
The Million Man March. It was extremely popular still. I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably a conversation that we need to continue, is how people feel about that. Good people. People who love African people. Non-egotistical people. Think it's one of the greatest things that ever happened. And Nana Clarke was opposed to it. I was too. And it wasn't because he said it, but I think we have, we just think with similar. I've been trained to think a certain way, and to be clear, certain kind of clarity. But it's when and see very similar in some ways to the Obama phenomenon, because when your people, there's something. When I was critical of what was going on around that time with Obama, someone said, a leader said, well, the thing about it is it will make our people happy. Well, that doesn't cut ice with me.
Did you say that came from a leader?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm not going to name names because it's not necessary, but it came from somebody who was at the time, the head of an organization which is one of the most, it's one of the primary Pan-Africanist, Black nationalist organizations.
Supposed to be, right.
Okay, but it was clear that there is a lack of thinking. And that's all it took, is like how you think, how you assess, how you analyze, and then how you translate that into strategy. So the Obama election was not strategic for us, but it was something that our people in their state of ego deprivation needed, obviously. You see what I'm saying? We had this need to be loved by the abusive parents.
Yeah. Mama,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and this is a very...
Let's get back to the question and the point that's being raised is, I don't know what kind of difference it would have made if Nana Clarke had been there and had said what he needed to say. I don't know in terms if Baba Amos. Because what happens is that people pick and choose what it is that they are influenced by, or the work that they're willing to do. And that's pretty much the thing, is that people, we have created a comfort zone as conquered people. As a conquered people. You see?
Yes, yes.
So that people are actually, we complain about things. Let's take the U.S. We complain about the killings and police brutality and so forth and so on. But we really we still consider ourselves Americans.
Yeah.
And want to be American. So anybody who is pushing beyond that, we're not going to really listen to that. And that's what I think in terms of, we saw it. I saw Nana being here. I saw Amos on a much smaller level, arena, so to speak, critique people that we all love in terms of as nationalists, as Black nationalists and so forth. And he was saying that you got to think beyond just doing lectures.
Yes, yes.
You have to think beyond, it's not enough just to take trips to Africa. But there's got to be, see, Amos was thinking strategically.
Mm-hmm.
He was also very aware of global political reality. Baba Asa Hilliard criticized our leadership and our movement,
Right.
saying that we were not thinking in terms of global realities and a global strategy.
Mm.
People love Baba Asa. But that doesn't mean that they listened to what he was saying when it was not something that was easy.
Mm. Mama Marimba,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think you've made that connection. I mean, it's wonderful that you brought up the name, you know, of our dear brother as well. You know, it kind of speaks to, if you like, a trinity. You know, yourself being schooled by Baba Clarke and somebody like Amos Wilson. You know, you know, you're on a. It's like you're on a different page to some of our leaders. But you mentioned and you mentioned fear and the need to be accepted by the oppressor, or even to be popular amongst our own people. You know.
Yes.
Do you not think that this has retarded our development in terms of solid institutions that needed to be built for Africans? Let's speak to America first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not think that is probably why there is a lack of you know, the kind of institution, the kinds of self-reliant institutions that we should have created already?
Absolutely. But let me say, which might sound shocking, but we know and we say, and it would be a cliche almost to say that we're afraid of white power. But I think that the deeper fear that really stops us is the fear of black power.
Right. Right.
African power.
Right.
You see, because to have, and Nana Clarke said that all education should be preparing you for power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people.
Amos says the same thing.
He said it very clear. And Amos, you know, they're talking about power.
That's it.
And you see, and that's why I talk about sovereignty. That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
It's African power. It's the consolidation of African power and the expression of African power on a worldwide, global basis, right? Which is what Garvey was talking about.
Uh-huh.
Garvey was brilliant, who none of these people have really understood or wanted to understand.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid of Garvey. You see, to be a sovereign people, to claim our power, means to be totally responsible for who you are,
mm-hmm.
for your people. And to claim the natural resources that we have and to develop the ways of using. Means to build these institutions that you are alluding to.
Absolutely.
You know, building an institution and running an institution, that's work.
Mm-hmm. Consistent hard work.
Consistent hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't end. It's not like,
absolutely,
I've done that. And that's,
I've finished that project.
It is, that's right. It's forever.
Absolutely.
It is forever.
Mm-hmm.
And this movement that we're talking about, this African sovereignty movement, that I am speaking for and fueling and doing everything that I can, right?
A lone voice in the wilderness?
There are a few people.
Right.
There are a few, and you got to find those few. That's what has to happen. Those are the real serious ones. Those are the ones who understand that you're working for something, the fruition of which you will not see in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be so in love with it, so committed, that that's okay. You give it your all. You give it your life.
Mm.
Let me just say, oh boy, so much I can say.
Speak, Mama, speak.
You mentioned Abakosem Sunsun. You see, one of the things about Nana Clarke that's so important is that he inspired others. It's the inspiration in what you inspire. And Abakosem Sunsun, which is an ongoing process, but something where, we actually come together once a year in May, came totally out of an inspiration by him. Not something he said, well, this is what I want you to do, Marimba. But something which he ignited in my heart. And one of the things that have come out of it is that we have a newspaper.
All right.
We started it last year, 2017, and the idea was what the Garvey movement was able to do through the Negro world.
Mm-hmm.
Which is incredible when you think about it. We don't have that kind of will now.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need. So I said, well, we got to do something. We got to do that. And so we have the African World.
Mm-hmm.
And the motto, so to speak, is one race, one aim, one destiny. And we call it a newspaper of the African sovereign world.
Okay.
So recently, we've just had another Abakosem Sunsun that was in May, and we've had our second volume of the African World.
Right.
And we begin with a quote from Nana Clarke, which is, Africa is our center of gravity, our cultural and spiritual mother and father, our beating heart, no matter where we are on the face of this earth. Real simple, but real clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that kind of clarity that we need. And what I do is to introduce the idea and the concept of what is called a PAM, A-P-A-M.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a tree word, language spoken primarily in Ghana.
Yeah.
And a palm refers to the African promise. And that is that when you are born African, you make a promise. And that promise is that you work to achieve world African sovereignty.
I love that. I love that.
So I'm going to get to you. You've got to give me an address. Call me at another time. Give me an address.
That was my next question. When can we get hold of the African World?
I am going to mail it to you.
Okay.
Because and what I want to do is mail it throughout the African world.
Absolutely.
Mail it. I'm looking at some envelopes right here. I was going to get to the
Great stuff.
Okay. Mail it to places on the continent.
Uh-huh.
Give it to people who are making trips.
Right.
There is the back page is a beautiful page on something called the Ancestral Wall. Have you heard about that?
The Ancestral Wall? No. Enlighten us, please, Mama.
The Ancestral Wall is in Ghana, and it has been organized and built by a brother, Jerry Johnson, who was born in U.S., lived in U.S., is a Garveyite, and has been living in Ghana for the last 14 years. Has a family there. But what he has done is to build this wall. In fact, he says it's only a third done, and you should see it. It's incredible. Of portraits of our ancestors. So he's got 90 so far. Mm-hmm. The last one he put up was of Nana Clarke and Dr. Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And the large ones are the size of 8 feet by, I think he said 6 feet.
Right.
So imagine that.
Mm-hmm. That's quite a wall.
He uses it to teach the children.
Mm.
Because having been influenced heavily by Baba Asa,
mm-hmm.
he believes in the critical nature of the socialization of our people.
Right.
And so do I.
Right.
Is that the idea is that we create the Africans that we need.
Mm. Yeah.
Do that through socialization. And the enemy understands that.
Mm.
That's why they've given so much emphasis on capturing the minds of our people.
Absolutely.
And they have all these mechanisms to control our thoughts.
Mm.
And Nana Clarke talked about that. He talked about images. He talked about the concept of a deity. All of those things that when you lose that, you lost.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Baba Clarke has written many hundreds of children's books as well.
Right.
You know, so he's
absolutely. So, I will send the African World and anybody listening. Our job is to get this newspaper every place you can get it.
Right.
Throughout the African world. So we got to get it to the Caribbean.
We will definitely support you.
We got to get it to South America where there are African populations.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get it throughout the African continent and, of course, to whatever states I can get it to, cities I can get it to here and so forth.
Mm. Well, you've given us our homework, Mama.
You said, say that again?
I said you've given us our homework to do. As soon as we get it, we're going to be distributing it.
That's my job, doing it. You know what I mean? And my job is not to make you comfortable. Okay? Because it ain't going to be easy.
That's right.
It shouldn't be.
That's right. That's right.
And if it is, then you know you're not doing
something isn't right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if it feels too good, then there's something wrong. What should feel good is when you're pushing yourself beyond what you thought you could do. Absolutely.
Mama, it's a pleasure having you on our program this evening. I just want to open up the lines now to our listeners.
Okay.
Any of you brothers and sisters who, it's always a pleasure interacting with Mama Marimba, and we give her the floor because we know she has so much wisdom, ancestral wisdom to bring us. And, I'm sure, and that wonderful analysis that she gave to us is so important, brothers and sisters. The lines are now open, and the numbers to call in on is 020-7193-0174. Let me repeat that, 020-7193-0174. 920-793-0174. If you want to text us, you can do so on 073 7792 0703. That's 07377920703. You know, Mama Marimba, every time I go to events and so on, and you know, I interact with brothers and particularly sisters as well, I always make sure that I give them your name so they can check your stuff on YouTube, because you know, you're an inspiration to many. You know, the clarity of Baba John Henrik Clarke, even when, you know, people think that you're being a little bit unkind, and, you know, you're going against the grain, so to speak, you know, you always speak that truth, and it is very, very clear. So you are definitely, you know, a spirit child of Baba John Henrik Clarke. It's not about being popular. It's because I know it's because you love our people why you are bringing it in the way it is. You know, it's not comfortable. It's not pretty.
Anything that I say out of love for African people. And if you notice, Garvey did the same thing. Nana Clarke did that, but also Brother Malcolm.
Yes.
Yeah.
He loved our people, and he would tell people exactly what they needed to hear.
Absolutely. And it's so important, you know, we can't be dealing with false platitudes. It's not going to free us at all, you know. Brother Olatunji.
Yeah, just to say, before calls haven't come in yet, but we've got a text from Afri Best. Greetings.
I'll tell you what, do it here, bro.
This text says, greetings. Have all this knowledge from these great historians been put to good enough use to change the white man's attitude towards us as a race? That's the question. Yeah.
Did you get that question, Mama Marimba?
Not exactly.
All right, just repeat it, brother.
Right. The text says, greetings. Have all this knowledge from these great historians been put to good enough use to change the white man's attitude towards us as a race?
Oh. You have to forgive me for laughing.
Not at all.
You see some of that as well, some of the humor in that.
Yes, indeed.
You are talking to the wrong person.
No question you can answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so not interested in changing the white man person, or whoever they are. First of all, that's one of the points I wanted to make in the book, Urugu. They can't change.
Right.
You know, they are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's their nature. If I can even use that word, nature. They are who they are. But at any rate, that's not what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is have. I'm concerned with us building the power where we can exact sanctions.
Yes.
And therefore punish anything that is done against us, and support whatever it is that we think is good behavior among our people. You know, you got to have the power to be able to exact sanctions. So that's what we have to do. Don't worry about that anything other stuff like changing anybody. No. It ain't about that. It's about upholding my eye. It's about exacting justice. Anyway, that's my answer.
No, Mama, that was loud and clear. Anyone who's read Hugo would be clear that that's the situation. Actually, we need to maybe understand who they are and what they are. But in terms of changing them, we need to change ourselves really to like I said earlier, to embrace African power. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
Well, to be fair to our texter, I mean, that might be the way they have analyzed, the situation, thinking that it is about changing the European, because that is how many of us have seen the world. It really is about changing and pleasing, and being accepted by the Europeans. So in a sense, our texter probably speaks to that mentality, and the analysis that you gave earlier on, and the brief addition that you gave is very important. It really is about us, because we can't change anybody apart from ourselves, and they're in such an advantageous position. Why would they want to change anyway?
Exactly. Why would you want to give up power? Now the Clarke says the powerful, they ain't going to educate you to take away their power.
Indeed, and so
you got to do that yourself.
Yeah. For those who are not clear, then we certainly would recommend to our listeners get a copy of Urugu by Mama Marimba. It certainly is worth getting. And while you're about it, on this particular subject, maybe check out some works of Bobby E. Wright and Francis Cresswell-Sing as well, because they really clarify the situation for us without any doubt.
Okay, Mama Marimba, we got a first caller on the line. That's Brother Kwame from Nottingham. I'm not sure if you will be able to hear him, but we will summarize his question if you can't hear him. Brother Kwame, Tenamari, welcome to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. What is your call? What's your call about this evening? Tenamari, my brother.
Brother Olutunji, also Brother Omowale as well.
Yes, my brother. Tenamari.
The sister in the studio, or which I say the elder.
Yeah, Mama Marimba. She's speaking to us from the States.
Yes, I'm saying the elder. So greetings to the elder as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my point is, I think that text is complete utter crass. You have to change the mind of the white man. This, quote unquote, this man is not going to change. A leopard does not change his spots. I mean, 500 years of history with this person, right, should show us that they ain't going to change. They have no intention of changing. Because like the elder said, if you are in a position of power, why would you want to surrender your power to people that you think are non-human, right? So we have to change our mind. That's the first thing. We have to change our mind, because if we don't change our mind, we ain't going nowhere, right? But I want to ask the elder, being that the woman, the African woman, right, not the black woman, because I don't know what a black woman is, but the African woman, right, given that she has been at the vanguard of our liberation and has the essential role to play of our liberation, she may not think it, but that's the reality. She has to play a key role in the efforts of our in the liberation struggle. So my question is that, given today the climate we are living in, is the black woman geared for freedom? Is she ready for freedom? And is she going to fight for freedom in the spirit of Madikizela Mandela? That's my question to the elder.
Okay. Just repeat. Is she geared for freedom? Go on.
Yeah. Is she ready for freedom?
Is she ready for freedom?
Is she geared for freedom? Is she ready for freedom? And has she got the mindset for obtaining freedom for herself and for her family? Just in the line with our late elder
Mama Nomzama.
Mandela.
Right.
Because that is the spirit. That I believe that is the spirit that a woman should go for, but I don't see her.
Okay.
I'm asking the elder, does she see that within our woman?
Okay. Bless you, my brother. Thank you. Let me get that question. Mama Marimba, I don't know if you heard the question.
No.
Right. Okay. Good. Well, not good, but anyway. Right. He was speaking specifically to the African woman being the vanguard, in many different ways, and he's talking about the climate today. In today's climate, are African women geared for freedom, ready for freedom, and have the mindset for freedom in the spirit of our great Mama Nomzamo Madikizela Mandela, who we lost only a couple of months ago. Did you get that, Mama?
I heard you, but it doesn't make a lot. I mean, if he's making a statement, that's okay. I like that.
He's specifically asking. I think basically he sees certain deficiencies in today's African woman.
That's right. I figured that. Making a statement, and what I'm trying to say is that I don't have time really for that. Is that I like the fact that he's got a statement to make, but it can't masquerade as a question. Right. So yeah, I really don't have time or energy for that.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. We're gonna move on.
And let me just say that Mama Winnie was incredible warrior who's got to be raised up, by us as an African warrior. And let me also say that probably, I'm not going to say there are a whole lot of African warriors around me, or that I know of, or African sovereignists, a handful. But of those, there are probably more women than there are men.
Mm-hmm. I sorry, go on.
If that does anything to answer the question, and then further, let me say that I am not a feminist, nor am I a womanist, whatever that means. I'm a Pan-Africanist sovereignist. I'm a sovereignist, African sovereignist, and that I love our men and our women.
Right. I get, Mama Marimba, I get the reason why you don't necessarily want to go there, but I want to press you a little bit if I can, Mama. Now, our brother here is speaking to a mentality that is not unique to him. Now, you are blessed with a great deal of wisdom. So what we need here now is the benefit of your wisdom for our brothers' question, and maybe brothers who feel this way. Have I pressed you suitably?
Say it again.
Have I pressed you suitably?
Okay, I don't get what you're saying, but you said a brother's question.
Yeah, basically, what I was saying is our brother's thoughts and his questions in terms of how his analysis of the African woman is not unique to him. Yeah. Now,
I hear you.
Somebody who is blessed with great wisdom, like yourself, there's an opportunity here. I think you would call it a teaching moment.
Okay, well, but let me say this. First of all, to what extent is it really a teaching moment? I mean, really, you have. So what you're saying is that there's a phenomenon of African women who are not thinking clearly around you or something.
No, I'm saying our brothers. No. Let me make myself clear. I'm saying that our brother is speaking to a mentality that perceives our sisters in this way. Sorry, I didn't make myself clearer.
I got it. Okay, but then you're saying that anything I could say is really going to influence the minds of brothers who are feeling that sisters are not ready?
Well, he's not necessarily saying sisters are not ready, but in his analysis... Sorry, Brother Kwame?
Well, my perspective is that given that I've lived in Ghana for a long time, yeah, okay, and I know of the politics of that country, yeah, and I know the mindset of that people, right? from my experience here, living in Ghana for 10 years here, I don't think that our women have got the right mindset to be ready, because they're not conscientized in the same way that our mothers and grandmothers were. Today, right in the motherland, our women look to Europe more than look to Africa. Their whole raison d'etre is westernized. Yeah, there's very even when you want to get married, most of our women in the continent want a white wedding, not a traditional wedding. So that is the mindset I'm talking about.
Okay.
That mindset for me is not geared towards liberation, it's not geared towards emancipation, but it's geared towards further enslavement of our people.
Okay.
The women have to play a major role in our liberation.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay. Mama Marimba?
Yeah.
Right. What he's kind of elaborated a little bit more in terms of his own personal experience of living in Ghana, and what he's saying is he's lived 10 years in Ghana, and he finds that the women are very westernized. Their whole sort of raison d'etre is very much a Eurocentric phenomenon now, and especially compared to the mothers and grandmothers, he's saying. So they've become very westernized.
You're right. I mean, I agree with that. So I'm not sure what the state of the African mind on the continent. I'm not going to say is worse or better, if we compare it, but they're going through the same kind of stuff that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good at all. I mean, look at the government.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure why he is saying
specifically the African woman.
I totally agree with him, but I'm not sure why he's saying that is true of the women more than the men.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm gonna.
I've experienced both, and I don't know if it's a personal thing that has happened with him because he was actually looking for a mate there, which is not a bad thing to do. I've noticed that a lot of men born in the U.S. Have repatriated, particularly to Ghana. I don't know about other countries as well, and that they have Ghanaian wives. I've noticed that as a pattern. So I don't know if that's what
right.
If the brother's talking about something he personally was trying to do and it didn't work because of the level of consciousness of the women there. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm going to tell you that in general, we're fighting an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy was not there playing games.
Absolutely.
They make sure they're working, they're doing everything that they can do to maintain a colonialist mentality in African people. And the first act of that, if we go back to 1400s, 1500s, was to turn our people against their ancestors.
That's right.
So what he's talking about is a much, I mean, I don't know what he's talking about, to tell you the truth, but what it might be, or well, I'm trying to interpret the significance of the question, for me is much broader than talking about the state of our women or talking about, I just don't see why he would have the women that he's talking about. But I can say generally that the level of consciousness
this is the SMS text delivery system
in Ghana is like it is in any place else in the European, in the West, in the African world, which is a European world.
6 2 9
6,
That also leads
3.
to look at, I'm sure
To
he
listen
has,
to the message,
the
press 1.
level of
To
consciousness
save
of
it,
the people
press 2.
in government.
To delete it.
You know, these African comprador governments are not, they would see us as the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would get in the way of what they want. That what they want is they define power in terms of how close you are to the European.
Yes.
And so we represent a threat to that. And again, I don't know why he would pick the women as to, you know, kind of.
Yes. I know exactly what you said.
That part I don't get, but I definitely would agree with him that don't go to Africa looking for people who are thinking like Nana Clarke. That, you know, you got to work to make that happen.
Yeah.
That's the work that I want to do.
Uh-huh.
And it's hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work, you know. Anyway, go ahead.
I got you. I get you, Mama Marimba. And to some extent, I think probably the work on our brothers and sisters in Mama Africa has probably been even more intense in terms of the westernization for deliberate reasons.
And the lack of confidence in being African. That's what's real sad.
Yeah.
They've done an excellent job on that. That's why this brother, Jerry Johnson, who has the Ancestral Wall, he's teaching stuff which in the schools, that's not what they're getting.
Right.
In the schools, they know, you know, European history, but they don't know their own history.
Absolutely.
It's work that we have to do. This socialization process is something. Can I read
Sure.
from Baba Asa?
Sure, Mama.
Listen to this.
Okay.
It is called Freedom with a question mark. Our first mistake was that we thought of freedom as a place rather than as a continuation of a struggle. Tyranny never sleeps. Our second mistake was that we thought of freedom as a goal rather than as a launching pad from which to reach our goals. Without purpose, freedom hardly matters. Our third mistake was that we thought freedom made us free. That, however, is mere license, not freedom at all. Freedom is being shackled to identity, purpose, and direction, and being in constant pursuit. Just wanted to share that with you.
That is absolutely beautiful. We're gonna have to get that. We're gonna have to get that down.
It's in his book, Seba.
Okay, Seba. Right.
Right. The very beginning, even before you get, I think, to the
okay.
content.
Right. We're gonna check that out. Okay. Mama Marimba, we're coming to the close of our show. And we want to thank all the brothers and sisters who've interacted with us. But we want to give special thanks to you, Mama Marimba, as we say, you know, alone in the wilderness, but doing some tremendous work of giving our people the depth and the clarity needed. And if brothers and sisters who have heard Mama Marimba for the first time, please check her out on the various different social networks. This is one of the few good reasons for things like YouTube is the opportunity to share or to listen to Mama Marimba, and also I'd highly recommend, of course, Baba John Henrik Clarke and Baba Amos Wilson. Can I make a sure you can.
Okay. I suggest you have a program on the concept of African sovereignty.
All right.
And have Baba Baruti come. He has, I think it's something like 13 points, which make it very concrete and very clear, because I think that we need to have some understanding of what we mean by African sovereignty, and then it can become a goal process for us. And let me just say one more thing. This is a quote from Nana Clarke.
Yes.
Aware of the fact that he said, you know, our goal has got to be in charge of who we are, right? And he says, either we are in charge of our destiny or we are not in charge.
Right.
It's that simple,
All
right? And he says, either we are free or we're slaves.
Okay.
I'm going to end with that.
All right. Bless you, Mama Marimba. It's always a pleasure, and we'll be looking out. I know Brother Olatunji is constantly interacting with you, will continue to do so. So we're looking out for our copies of the African World, and you've also...
Get the address to me.
Yes, we will do.
Very much.
And also we've had Baba Baruti on previous shows, and you've and we will do as instructed. Brother Olatunji has just said. So that is okay. That's one to come, and we may have yourself as well, because obviously you know you're very much a manifestation of African sovereignty in what you say and what you do. But it's been a pleasure again, Mama, and thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure to have you. How is Princess Jifa? How is she doing? She's not Princess Jifa anymore. No, she's all grown now. How is she?
I'm going to tell her that you asked. She is 41 years old.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable? And she's got 3 wonderful children.
Oh.
A daughter who is 12 who looks and moves just like her.
Beautiful.
So hopefully one day maybe we'll get over there. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Thank you for asking.
No, it's our pleasure, Mama. Thank you very much for being part of our program. Brothers and sisters, this has been Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. Join us next week between 8 and 10, where we talk it straight and make it plain. Next, brothers and sisters, none other than the great... I'm going to surprise you, brothers and sisters. You may think I'm going to surprise you. The next voice you're going to hear is going to be a little bit of a surprise, but we're blessed to have him, another member of the management team, none other than the great Nico the Most Royal. Tendai Mari. Join us next week, brothers and sisters. Tendai Mari. Yes, Tendai, my brothers and sisters, just to say, SG Vibes is not with us this evening. We're blessed to have Nico the Most Royal standing in for him this week. We're going to close you out with a little musical interlude. Tendai Mari.
Brother, take my hand, show me what you know. Sister, take the stand, lecture me some more. Time after time we reason about what is right and what is wrong with the world. Questions go by unanswered, but I'll push you till I find the answer I'm looking for. Watch for danger time, conscious mind. Know the one you love in love.